There was a massive wide receiver trade in the NFL yesterday. Not with the Eagles, though. But the Eagles did go Hollywood at wide receiver. World Baseball Classic Finals, Bryce Harper stepped up for Team USA. Was it enough? It wasn't. Spoiler alert. Sixers, Phillies, Eagles. Who knows what else we're talking about today? Trending in the AM. We are live. Taking your thoughts and opinions in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome welcome all to Trending in the AM, right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live, as we are every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. for 90-plus minutes of sports talk, taking your thoughts and opinions. Whether you're watching this live or on replay later, please do me the favor. Hit the buttons wherever they are on your screen or device. Like this video. Share this video out and subscribe to the channel starting today at 1,056. Can we gain a few more today? We're trying to build a revolution here. The only way we do this, the only way we grow this channel, the only way we take over is with your help. I put the grind in. All you got to do is click the buttons on the screen, guys. I'm Phil Stiefel. I'm your host, and we've got lots to get into today. So live or on replay, make sure you drop your comments. We've got a poll question running live on YouTube right now. Does how the Phillies players performed in the World Baseball Classic mean anything to you for 2026? Pretty simple answers. Yes, no, just a little. Obviously, last night, Team USA fell short in the World Baseball Classic final, but Bryce Harper had a huge game-tying two-run, dead center home run in the bottom of the eighth inning to tie it up and give Team USA a chance. It was the first runs of the game for Team USA. So we are going to discuss that today. We are going to discuss the newest Philadelphia Eagle. The Eagles go Hollywood. The Eagles signed Marquise Hollywood Brown to a one-year deal. Contract details are fuzzy, just up to $6.5 million is what is being reported at this moment, which means we do not know the guarantees in the contract yet. 29-year-old wide receiver spent most of 2024 hurt. Did have a solid bounce-back year for the Chiefs last year in 2025, having 49 catches, just under 600 yards. 5 touchdowns. A great addition to the wide receiver room as a wide receiver 3. He is not the guy that put up, over 1,000 yards for the Baltimore Ravens or had 8 touchdowns for the Baltimore Ravens. He's not the guy from 2020, 2021, but he's still a guy that could take the top off of a defense. He can still stretch the field to an extent. He's not a 4-3 guy anymore, but he's still fast enough. He can smart veteran receiver. So we've got that to discuss. Obviously, also, despite me wanting to stop talking about A.J. Brown, yesterday in the NFL, a massive wide receiver trade happened. Jaylen Waddle got traded from the Dolphins to the Denver Broncos. And the Denver Broncos gave up a lot for Jaylen Waddle, a first and a third-round pick, plus a pick swap in the fourth round, telling me that the price for A.J. Brown is actually maybe even higher than we think. So that's the top 3 topics that I've got on the board from yesterday. What does that Jaylen Waddle trade mean for the Eagles if they do really want to trade A.J. Brown? I don't know. We're going to discuss it. I try to avoid A.J. Brown talk, but all you guys want to do is talk it. So we're gonna go with what the people want. It does eliminate the Broncos as a candidate, obviously, but I think it sets a precedent and a price for what's going on. So we got lots on tap. Also, by the way, we talked a little bit about Adolis Garcia yesterday on the show, the new outfielder for the Philadelphia Phillies. He had a really good game in spring training yesterday. The home run he hit in yesterday's game was a monster shot dead into the wind. So, maybe he's starting to, with a little over a week till the season starts, maybe he's starting to find his groove. So right to the comments. Good morning, Adam. How you doing? I love the Hollywood Brown pickup, a solid wide receiver 3. I think that's what people got to understand. Hollywood Brown isn't being here to replace A.J. Brown if they trade him. Hollywood Brown is being brought in here to be an upgrade on Jahan Dotson, to be the guy that stretches the field. Jahan Dotson never really took the top, never really scared defenses, right? Whether Hollywood Brown has 10 catches or 50 catches doesn't really matter. You need somebody that's going to go deep and open up the middle of the field for A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, et cetera, et cetera. That's what Marquise Brown's job is, and I love it. I think it's a really smart pickup. Hollywood, if Holly could, if you were expecting pre-injury Marquise, you will be disappointed. Wide receiver 3, that's the best scenario. I think that's all that we are looking at, Doug. Anybody looking at Hollywood Brown as more than a wide receiver 3, I think is ignoring the fact of what Hollywood Brown is. It doesn't even eliminate the Eagles from drafting a wide receiver, maybe not in the first round anymore. It's a one-year cheap deal. It's nothing to get overly excited about, but it also shows you some of the pieces starting to come together on this Eagles team. They're filling in the gaps slowly but surely. They're making smart, they're making smart decisions that they're taking their time thinking about on this defense. They're not doing anything. They're not rushing anything. Everybody wanted Darnell Mooney. Mooney went elsewhere. That's fine. They're being patient. They're plotting. They're planning. He's going through the woods. Oh, I like that one over there. Good morning, Robert. How we doing today? Good morning, little G. What is up? Your birthday will be here soon. The pool for AJ is shrinking, but comps are up. Exactly. Look, I think it pushes the price up. Look, AJ Brown is a much better wide receiver than Jaylen Waddle. AJ Brown is about a year and change older. AJ Brown's got some knee issues, right? Jaylen Waddle's a very good wide receiver. Is Jaylen Waddle worth a first and a third round pick, though? If Jaylen Waddle's worth a first and a third, AJ Brown's got to be worth a first and a second, right? At a first and a third at least. If the Patriots have been lowballing the Eagles this whole time with like a second and a third or a second and a fourth, that Jaylen Waddle trade just smacks the Patriots in the face and be like, yo, damn, I guess we do got offered. Now, yes, the Broncos are out, but the Ravens are back in with the Max Crosby situation. The Jags, I still think, are a sneaky team. So these teams out there now know what the price is for A.J. Brown. Comps are up. Exactly. It pushes the price for A.J. Brown. I agree. Despite me not wanting to talk about it, despite me wanting to be done with the A.J. Brown talk, obviously yesterday stirred the pot a little bit more. Good morning, K1. Dotson never did a thing here or in D.C. Hollywood's at least done something in the league. Look, let's go through Marquise Brown's numbers. I mean, early in his career in Arizona and Baltimore, his last year in Baltimore in 2021, he had 91 catches, over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. In 2020, he had 8 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns. He's got 33 career touchdowns. Okay? Let's put that into perspective. The guy knows how to find the end zone because he takes the top off of defenses. He knows how to find the soft spot in zone coverages. He does things well. He's not elite anymore, but he does things well. And he's a veteran presence. Maybe he's a guy that, maybe can help A.J. Brown out with some of the struggles he faces, mentally in this league. Some of these fans are thinking he's a wide receiver 2 or replacing A.J. You don't know. Yeah, no. Anybody thinking that Hollywood Brown has been brought here because there is a pending trade for A.J. Brown and he's the replacement for A.J. Brown, they're going to be massively disappointed when they find out that that's not the case. Now, if they do in turn trade A.J. Brown, Marquise Brown can play in the slot and on the outside. But that only means you've still got a hole to fill, right? It just means you still got to find your wide receiver 1 or 2, right? You're trading A.J. Brown, you've got to draft Omar Cooper or what's the other guy, KC, whatever, in the first round. If that's all that means, right? But Hollywood Brown makes the wide receiver group better today than it was yesterday. That's all it does. Good morning, Bruce Harper. How you doing? Your boy Bryce Harper with a huge 2-run home run. All the Bryce Harper is washed. All the Bryce Harper does not have it anymore. comes up in the clutch last night to tie the game for Team USA with a 2-run home run. He also had a base hit earlier in the game as well. Maybe Bryce Harper starting to wake up here. Dotson did what he was asked and used these 2 seasons to reform his problem child reputation. That's all he was supposed to do. Yeah, look, good luck. Best wishes in his future endeavors to John Dotson. It's not a massive loss. I would argue that Hollywood Brown is a upgrade over Dotson. And I don't think anybody would argue against that. I feel that WBC wasn't important to me, so I only looked at the box scores, but I wish the USA or Italy would. Yeah, obviously I wanted Team USA to win. Obviously, as an Italian, fine upstanding Italian that I am, I wanted Team Italy as well there. I think people get a little over the top with, how the players performed, whether it means anything. It was just their spring training, right? So maybe a little it matters. I think people might have been jumping the gun on the Bryce Harper hate over the WBC. He's always a slow starter. I can tell you who I was thinking of picking for the Valspar. Oh, yeah, drop it. I got all my Valspar notes back here. You give me your Valspar picks. I will go over them with you. Absolutely. Valspar Championship starts tomorrow down in Florida. I will give them to you. Had a great episode of Fairway Heaven. We talked a lot of stuff last night. WBC was a disappointment. I mean, they made the finals. Came down to the 9th inning. Kyle Schwarber came up small in the 9th inning. It is what it is. I think making the finals is at least decent. I don't know if I would say it was a disappointment. I guess it's a disappointment if you wanted the title. It's hilarious that U.S. lost to Venezuela. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want to go that route at 8:12 in the morning, I definitely can hear you on that. For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I am thinking of taking Connors and Fitzpatrick. I'm deciding between Ryan Battea or JT for the third golfer. But one I picked the golfers, I can never pick them again. Yes. Connors seems like a good fit. Connors was a little rough with the putter on over the weekend at the Players. So that concerns me. You got to definitely be able to putt well. You got to be trending upward on putting. I think Fitzpatrick is a fantastic play. I like Battea. I might save Battea, honestly. That would be somebody I would want to save. Out of these 6 names in a 3 and done, I'm probably taking Connors, Fitzpatrick, and Justin Thomas. They would probably be the 3 names I would take out of this group. Rye has had a down year, so I'm afraid of Rye. Period. Right now, 2-glove Rye. But I would go Connors, Fitzpatrick, and Thomas. The guys I like the most this week are Xander Fitzpatrick. I like Brooks Koepka. You might want to play Brooks Koepka this week if you haven't. Ryo Hisatsune, if he's available, you might want to look at him. Austin Smotherman, another name you might want to look into using this week if you have not yet. Couldn't we just best players? Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'm so happy for the people of Venezuela after everything we have done to them. Oh, my God. That sounds – you and K1 are sounding awful too political for me. I know what you're saying, but a little too close to – you're towing that line, Anthony. At this point, hopefully AJ comes back to the Eagles to face the music and the fans and hear some boos for his bitch ways. I mean, is that really the way you want to go about it, Rick? Do you want to boo and scream at a guy that we have not heard straight from his mouth that he doesn't even want a beer to begin with? Yes, he was a problem last year. Yes. But I don't know if your answer there, your comment there, is the way to handle this situation. Thank you. I want to take Thomas, but I read he had a operation. Yeah, but he's now back week 3. Last week he performed phenomenally at the Players Championship. Use him now while he's riding hot is my thought process. In reality, the WBC is just preseason baseball. Rick, I agree. I agree, and that's kind of why I can't get into it. The reason I struggle to get excited for the World Baseball Classic is probably the time frame of when it happens, right? Maybe hosted after the World Series. I don't know. I don't know when they could do the WBC, but it just doesn't excite me. I love cheering Team USA on in the Olympics, but man, I think we talked about this yesterday a little bit. It's where it's in the schedule, in the middle of spring training, where I'm just ramping up for baseball, just like the players. I don't know. Now, I will say this about the World Baseball Classic. It definitely means a lot more to Venezuela, the Dominican Republic, the Japan, Italy, the other countries. As we talked yesterday, baseball is a lot more of an international sport than it used to be decades ago. So, in that sense, it's more than just preseason baseball to Team Venezuela, who won last night, right? So you got to understand that aspect. To us, it's just preseason baseball. To us, we're just ramping up. We're still coming off a football season. We're in the doldrums of, hockey and basketball season. The WBC, it's just not there for us. Yeah, I know golf isn't for everybody, Robert, but I answer all questions. Any questions, any sports questions you got, I got them here for you, Robert. I'm a well-rounded guy here. You're right about Xander. He is top golfer, but I was going to, you could save Xander in a 3-and-done situation. I love him this week. Coming off of last week, definitely save Xander. I don't know if I'd save him for the Masters. I'd probably be using Xander at the U.S. Open or the PGA Championship personally in a 3-and-done situation. I've never done a 3-and-done. I've always only ever done 1-and-done. So in a 3-and-done, I'm probably saving him for the second or third major. Aren't they our 52nd state? Oh, my God, you guys. Maybe it was Greenland. Yeah, exactly. Venezuela should have faced Dominican Republic in the first place and Philly Venezuela 5-3 or USA 3-2. You're pretty close on with your predictions, Jonathan, last night. You were. Look, I watched some of the game. I did. It was hard to watch because the offense, while I was watching of Team USA, was just dreadful. Kyle Schwarber and Aaron Judge went a combined 0 for 7 with 6 strikeouts last night. That's not a good performance from Team USA and that vaunted offense of them. But again, it's preseason. These guys are just ramping up. You guys. You guys are a riot. AJ forced his way out of Tennessee, came here, got a new contract, went to 2 Super Bowls, win one, get another contract, and still decided to bring turmoil to this team. So, I hope he comes back, face the music. Look, all you're going to do, if he has to face, So hold on, let me backtrack. So I hear what you're saying, and I understand. Look, the one thing, we disagree on AJ and how to handle the situation, but what I have said since day one, I understand your thought process. I hear you, okay? I agree with why you feel the way you do. But here's how I'd handle it. If I'm A.J. Brown and I come back to the Eagles in 2026, I'm coming in a day early. I'm holding a press conference. I'm going to sit there with the media and have it live streamed. And I'm going to be like, yo, guys, this is it. Ask your questions. I'm going to answer truthfully. And then that's it. We don't talk about it anymore. Right? Clear the air and move on. And then I'm fine with it, right? As long as as long as he answers how I feel is truthfully, right? I'm ready to move on one way or another. All I want, Rick, is what's best for the Eagles. A.J. Brown, motivated and focused, is best for the Eagles. Now, if he's not going to be motivated, if he's going to Roger Dorn plays again, yeah, sure. Move on from him, as long as you get the premier price. Can you say one more time when Fairway Heaven is going to be? It's on Tuesday nights live at 6 p.m., but if you go to the YouTube channel where you're on right now, you go under the live tab, you can see it and watch it on replay anytime you want, Bruce. So we go live at 6 p.m. on Tuesdays, but it's there. Just go to the homepage of this channel, and you can find any episode and watch on replay. Hey, I got a lot of Christian Bazunhut this week, K1, in my lineups. I've done 20 lineups so far. He's in 7 of my 20 lineups. So Seabez is a play this week. At least Venezuela means we increased our domestic production. Oh, my God. Team USA offense reminded. It felt like I was watching a Phillies playoff game, Rick. And you are not the only one that said that. It felt like I was watching the Phillies last night. Struggling, not doing anything, have a little boom in the 7th or 8th inning, then come up small in the 9th. You are not the only person that thinks that. I thought that. I've seen people tweet that. Team USA looked an awful lot like the Phillies last year in the playoffs. I don't know him, but I will read about him before I decide, and maybe Phil could also say, Seabez is a great play. in a DFS. I don't know if I like him in a 3-and-done situation. He's never going to win the tournament. He's never going to win a tournament this year, okay? But in a like a DraftKings situation, he's a great play because he's going to make the cut, almost certainly. He does a lot of things well in this weaker field. So if you want to save somebody for a bigger event, you can play Seabass, Christian Bazunu. It's not the worst. Venezuela will never be. Stop. Guys, can we move on from that stuff? I do love some Bazunu. It's a good golfer. I forgot to say thank you for, yeah, absolutely. That's why I voted no that the WBC didn't give me anything new for this Phillies season. Yeah, look, maybe Bryce Harper sort of woke up yesterday a little bit. That's good. But you know what? The goal was to come out of it unscathed. Our guys reportedly have not gotten hurt in the WBC. It's time to focus for the next 8 days. Opening day is what? Next Thursday? Next Friday? So let's move on. AJ is diva the crap out of this for the media eye. AJ is diva the crap out of this for the media eyes. Yeah. Thank you. Yep. No, all good. That's why there's shows on replay, my man. AJ faced the music after the playoff game where he pulled up lame intentionally on routes. It wasn't just a playoff game. He did it all year. I don't know if he's the worst kind of teammate. You would not vote him a team captain if he was the worst kind of teammate. Okay? You wouldn't. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a captain this year, but Kirk Green actually had marbles and faced the music after the playoffs. Absolutely agree. And we talked about this then, Rick. He faced the music. He stood up. He took his punches, despite the fact that it wasn't the only reason we lost that game. So, yeah, I agree. I understand that. It also doesn't mean a motivated A.J. Brown doesn't make us better. That losing a motivated A.J. Brown doesn't make us worse. Would you rather be 11-6 and have a struggle to get to the championship game without A.J. Brown, or be 12-5 and be the favorites to get to the championship game with A.J. Brown? A.J. hasn't said anything about wanting to be traded. This whole thing was created by, obviously, Diana Rossini has been a big part of it. You know, she's tweeted about A.J. Brown trade rumors like 375 times. She never once tweeted anything about Jaylen Waddle getting traded, Anthony, right? But she's not the only one. They're all doing it, right? Every reporter, locally and nationally, everybody's got a different story. I've heard, somebody DM'd me yesterday about Gargano saying that he doesn't think it's going to happen. Or his source says it's not happening, the trade, right? But Anthony Gargano has said 100 times, 100 different things. Every day, everybody's tweeting. It's, they're saving all their Jalen Hurts hate tweets for later. And they're just digging a deep hole with all this AJ stuff for clicks, for comments, for commentary. It is what it is. AJ don't want to be here. We'll give him a real reason to not want to be here. Look, if you want to be that guy, that's fine. But if he's here, why wouldn't you want to encourage him to be motivated? Be an asshole to him, Rick. Go for it. Then he's going to be even less motivated. Just cheer the team. Cheer the logo on the jersey. Don't worry about the name on the back, Rick. Your focus is wrong on the Eagles, or misplaced on the Eagles. Yeah, he's frustrating as all hell. Come on. If he's here, he makes us a better team. I feel happy for Bryce. I hope he can be good this year for the Phillies. Look, I've said it before. We need Bryce Harper to be great this year. Bryce Harper returning to an MVP form is the best thing that the Phillies can hope for our success this year. Team captain was before the season, before he showed his true colors. He acted like this before. Maybe not as drastic, but he acted like this before. Okay? The AJ trade talk is real, but so was the Max Crosby trade, and now Max is back and looking to ball with this team. If AJ stays, I think that's a great. Yas, you're spot on. Max Crosby. Look, more came out about that situation yesterday with Max Crosby. He got to Baltimore for his physical and never even met with the coach or the GM till afterwards. Like if you trade for Max Crosby, you trade 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby, wouldn't you be there greeting him at the door? Like, seriously. And yes, A.J. Brown, if he's here, I hope he locks in as well, because a locked-in A.J. Brown is 100 times better than a team without A.J. Brown. Who's the best golfer of the ex-athletes? Jordan, Romo. John Smoltz is a phenomenal golfer. I forget what that event is. It's held out on the West Coast. You get all the celebrities and all the former athletes. I think it's John Smoltz. It was a former Braves pitcher. I'm almost positive it was John Smoltz. Has won that thing multiple times. Jordan is not a great golfer. Jordan is a smart golfer because he gambles heavily on the golf course. Tony Romo almost qualified for the U.S. Open once, so he would be in that category. A lot of pitchers are very good golfers in baseball, so that's that. I want to say it's John Smoltz, K1. I could be wrong on that, but there's a pitcher, I'm almost positive, from the maybe not. John Smoltz played for the Cardinals, too. Maybe it's either John Smoltz, Adam Wainwright. Those guys, those names are ringing bells. So there you go on that. AJ has said he wanted to be traded behind closed doors. What's said behind closed doors? All that is you're choosing which source to believe and not believe. Until I hear it straight from the mouth, or until it happens, it's just a source. It's just an anonymous comment. It's just a rumor, okay? Not one peep about Waddle going to the Broncos before it happened. These assholes are. It's what it is. It's 100% what it is. What's up? Oh, Adam, muchas gracias. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, if you have not yet, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. We are sitting right now at 13 likes on the video. So hit those buttons, guys. I'd appreciate it. AK, I did you a solid. I looked up Jesse Bates, like I said. Jesse Bates is somebody you want. Now, I'm surprised. I didn't realize Jesse Bates played to an all-pro second-team level last year at safety. I actually don't know if I like the idea of trading for Jesse Bates, because Jesse Bates is going to cost you a lot of money. He's going into the last year of his deal, making about $25 million. You're going to have to extend him if you trade him. Are you going to pay Jesse Bates, even if he takes a pay decrease, 3 years, $60 million? Can you afford Jesse Bates on a 3-year contract? I don't know. The player Jesse Bates, I think, would be perfect for the Eagles. Forces fumbles, doesn't mind hitting, gets the interceptions, is a ball hawk guy, just what this defense needs. Don't know if I would pay that. So just throwing that out there. You looked into it. You asked me to look into it. You gave me your thoughts. I think the Jesse Bates talk, while sounds good financially, I don't think would work, in my humble opinion. Sabotage his own team after his team bend over backwards from. Okay. All right. I think Smoltz is the guy. I'm almost positive Smoltz. Then I thought, well, he did play for the Cardinals. Maybe it was a Cardinals pitcher I was thinking of. I'm almost positive it's John Smoltz has won that event. I think it's in Lake Tahoe, that event. I just remember I watch it, and I always see they got the basketball court set up at the 1 par 3. So, yeah, you always got all the people out in their yachts watching and stuff like that. Pretty sure John Smoltz is a phenomenal golfer. AJ having to come back would be poetic justice. AJ coming back and leading the team to a Super Bowl would be poetic justice. He's not. Charles Barkley is not terrible at golf anymore. He's lost a lot of weight. He's worked on his swing. He's still not a good golfer, but he's much better than he used to be. But, yeah, I see a lot on LeBron James learn how to golf right now. His golf swing is not good at all. 20 watch, guys, it's free. It doesn't cost you a thing to hit the buttons on the screen. Anybody that thinks AJ isn't trying to force his way out of here is being naive. No, what it is not believing the fact that every rumor changes every 5 minutes, Rick. Every time you hear AJ wants out, then the next day the same people say AJ's never said it. Adam Schefter has actually, if you go back and look at Adam Schefter's comments, Adam Schefter didn't say, like I said, that A.J. Brown wants out. He said, Adam Schefter, I think A.J. Brown wants out. So even Adam Schefter is just speculating. They're throwing the fishing rod in. They're fishing, okay? There's no 1,000% comment on it. Benji Simmons, what's up? After June 1st, he's out of here. Doesn't matter. He's being shopped. And that's possibly the case. The whole point we're bringing up on A.J. Brown shouldn't be about whether he wants out or not, whether he's a drama queen or not, whether he's toxic or not. The point of bringing up A.J. Brown today is the Jaylen Waddle trade solidifies the fact that the price to get him is no cheap deal, that you better be willing to pony up a first and a second, a first and a third, and something else if you want him. Because A.J. Brown is a 10-time better wide receiver than Jaylen Waddle. And that's not a knock on Waddle. That just goes to show how great A.J. Brown is. The whole point is, what does the Jaylen Waddle trade do to the market for A.J. Brown, the price for A.J. Brown? That's the only thing I want to discuss today on the A.J. Brown situation. I saw two more dissatisfied Fox customers. They say they waited 58 minutes to get their food. I mean, I can't help it. I can't help it, man. I got out. I'm out. We'll see. Adam, it does break my heart to see so many people frustrated at Fox's Pizza at this point. After 18 years of ass kicking in there, it breaks my heart. We'll see. That's why it's great that I'm not Howie. But as much as I like him, yeah, I'd figure it out if he is like Harrison Smith. To me, Bates is one of the best. Look, I actually thought Bates came down to earth a little bit. I didn't realize he just had another all-pro year. If you could find a way, this is not very Howie Roseman-esque, but you see a lot of people making trades for players. It just happened with Justin Fields the other day in the trade to the Chiefs. The Jets trade him away. They got a late-round pick. He's a different level player, but using it for an example, they paid $8 million of his contract in a bonus to lessen the cap hit and to lessen the money for the Chiefs. Would Howie Roseman trade for Jesse Bates, whatever it may be? 4th-round pick, 5th-round pick. If the Falcons say, hey, we'll pay 10 of his $24 million in a salary cap, now you're only on the hook for $14 million, would Howie make a trade for a rental? Howie Roseman never trades for rentals, but maybe he would trade for him in a rental situation if the Falcons pick up some of the money. I doubt it happens, right? Howie doesn't value safety that much yet. Now, he has flipped on some other positions. Maybe safety is next, but I don't know. You also have to think of how would Jesse Bates fit in what Vic Fangio wants. Does Vic Fangio want Jesse Bates? Would that match his style, his system? I don't know on that either. Absolutely. And Ben, I have said this since day one. I am not even entertaining an A.J. Brown trade till June 1st. A, because of the cap hit. But B, because do we need more draft capital this year, really? No. This year's draft class is considered weak overall. Next year is considered deep overall and stronger overall. I'd much rather a first and a third next year than a second this year and a first next year, or a first this year and second next year, right? I'd rather that capital next year, along with the massive amount of cap savings you get from it. Look, Adam, I don't want to talk A.J. Brown, but I think the Jaylen Waddle trade leads directly into what the value is A.J. Brown. Because you got people out there, and again, because use A.J. Brown. Everybody uses A.J. Brown for clicks, right? There are people out there that think the Jaylen Waddle trade lessens A.J. Brown's trade value. That Jaylen Waddle is better than A.J. Brown and worth more than A.J. Brown in a trade. And that's the point there, okay? I think it raises it. I think it ups the stakes for the Patriots or the Jags or whoever else. Yeah, look, the Eagles are still monsters without him. Yes, they're bigger monsters. They're the Megazord versus the Power Rangers, right? They're still really great, but they're even better with him, right? And if you do trade him post June 1st, Hollywood Brown ain't filling his shoes. Means you're going to have to draft somebody in the first round at wide receiver. Slim Reaper will get more touches. Devontae is beast. Yeah, look, dude, I'm the one. Nobody gives me credit. I'm the first one. Was it 2 or 3 off seasons ago when all the channels were talking, all the radio channels were talking about Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown drama, right? Who's better and whatnot. I was the one that tweeted that out first. I'm the one that stirred the pot, okay, on that conversation that went all over the place. Go back. If you can find the first person to tweet it, I'm guaranteeing you're going to see it's me, okay? I'm a big Devontae Smith fan, but I also understand that Devontae is great. A.J. Brown makes him even better. Devontae makes A.J. even better. Having that 1-2 punch is critical for the success of the Eagles, right? Waddle is pretty damn good, bro. His numbers were down because Tua was... No, Jaylen Waddle is a great wide receiver. He's not in that top 10 upper echelon like A.J. Brown is. I've said this 3 times today. I'm not knocking Jaylen Waddle at all, right? And just like a lot of Devontae Smith's success has come with A.J. Brown opposite of him. A lot of Jaylen Waddle's success has come with Tyreek Hill next to him. People never – actually, see, I disagree, Robert. Everybody believes everything they hear on WIP. That's the problem. Because it was a once well-respected news, media, radio organization. And they've just become trash. They've become TMZ of sports talk. I don't think the Waddle trade affects AJ at all because I do not think the Eagles are shopping him. I think they're listening. Howie Roseman is listening. If you call Anthony and ask Howie about any player, he'll listen. Howie Roseman is a very, very strong believer in doing his due diligence on every single player he has. If you call him and ask for Jalen Carter, if you call him and ask him for Jalen Hurts or Quinion Mitchell, he'll listen to what you have to say. I mean, most of the time he'll laugh when you're done and hang up on you, but he'll listen, okay? Is Harper locked in for the season after that home run last night? I don't know. I don't know if last night, everyone's saying that he looked horrible, and then last night, now shut up. Bryce Harper is, this great player still. I think the Bryce Harper situation is still TBD on what he is going to be in 2026. Last night didn't change that for me one iota. Yeah, he proved again that he can come up clutch in the big moments sometimes, when the lights are the brightest sometimes. But he's also failed so many times in the bright moments. So last night doesn't change anything, right? He is to be determined, in my opinion, on what Bryce Harper is going to be like for the Phillies. Is he going to be an MVP candidate again? Is he going to be an all-star player? What's he going to be? Did you sell the pizza shop to an Italian family? No, I did not. That is probably the problem. I believe he's from Vietnam, or that's his heritage. No, for sure. I have no idea, but probably wouldn't happen. I agree. But like I said, one hell of an option. And I have heard Jesse Bates, AK's name, in rumors that the Falcons are shopping him. They have. So who knows what the value is, but the biggest issue isn't the trade for Jesse Bates. To me, issue number one for the Eagles trade for Jesse Bates is the extension and the price. Issue two is the fit with Vic Fangio. Then issue three is the can you get him for X draft pick? I think A.J. Brown is back. He likes Mannion and probably excited about Hollywood Brown being there. I agree. I think if I had a pick today, I would say 54% he's staying, 46% he's not staying. What's up, Larry Jackson? How you doing today? Good morning, man. I'm sick of the AJ stuff too, man. Haven't heard that man say one word out of his face that he won't be. Yep, exactly. I put out a tweet yesterday. Raise your hand if you're just tired of it. Look, whether he stays or goes, I don't even care anymore. Like, I hate saying that. I don't care. I just want it over with. I just want a resolution. Now, you're not getting the resolution anytime soon, unfortunately, because it's going to go on until June 1st. Yes, that's ha. Where's my laugh? There. See, I'm going to try to sneak 2 or 3 sound drops in every single show. Mitchie Poo, you get the first one. I think you're going to have to go moonlight as that poor fella. No. Done. I'm out. I went like this. I went like a guy in a game. I tapped out, okay? I think the Harper hit was good for him, that he can hit a clutch. Does it mean he is back? No. Or from a mental standpoint, it may. I think that's fair, Big Al. Maybe mentally it helps Bryce Harper. That's fair. I think you might have something there. It doesn't mean his swing is 100% back to where it was or needs to be, but I think you're on the right path there with Bryce Harper. In the same sense, maybe striking out in the 9th inning hurts Kyle Schwarber. I don't think so. I'm just saying. And we'll say this. Saw somebody tweet this out, and I saw it like literally 5 minutes before the show, so I didn't dive into it. Kyle Schwarber got his silver medal, right? Took it. It was put on him. He walked away within 10 seconds, took it off. Does that mean it doesn't mean anything to him, or is he just frustrated? If what I hear is right, and our cap is around $40 million this year, $80 million next year, that sounds like we could offer him. And if $20 million of that 80 is going towards Bates, I'm actually all for it. Okay. So I do hear we got about $40 million. All right. Obviously, the A.J. Brown situation plays into this, right? We also don't know the cap hits yet on Hollywood Brown, Reek Woolen, or Johnny Munch yet, and also Brandon Mann. We don't know outside of Grant Calcaterra only having $700K guaranteed. We don't know the cap hits for any of the other guys yet, okay? So that's part one of that. So that $40 million is coming down. Not a lot, but a little bit, right? A.J. Brown's part two on that situation as well, okay? The $80 million or whatever we're going to have next year, AK, does not include Jalen Carter's extension, does not include I don't think that includes the price increase on Jordan Davis either. So there's a little bit there. You gotta dance around the future with those numbers there still. You're out, Tom. You're out. Did I upset you? Was there something I did wrong? My St. Patrick's Day was pretty boring and pretty dry. I just sat around, did golf research, built golf lineups, did content. I did literally nothing on St. Patrick's Day. First St. Patrick's Day, I didn't work in a restaurant in a long, long time. I did want to go out and get some good Irish food yesterday, but then I got really lazy, and at like 4 o'clock, I didn't feel like putting jeans on to go out. So I just made frozen food from my freezer. Did you read about right-handed pitcher Chuck King in Phillies minor league camp? Used to be a TV analyst with the Padres and decided to get back into baseball at 28. Interesting story. I did not. I've never even heard the name from Phillies minor league camp. Interesting. He's not 28 anymore. If you start with the Padres at 28, I'm assuming he's a little older than that. That's cool. I love those fun stories. Late bloomers. Like I love the Chris Coast story back in the day. That's cool. Good Irish food. I love good bangers and mash or shepherd's pie. I'm not a big corned beef and cabbage fan because I don't like cooked cabbage, but I love a good piece of corned beef in the crock pot with some potatoes and carrots. Yeah, Irish food's good once a year. And I don't want it the rest of the year. Well, I shouldn't say that. Bangers and mash you can eat anytime, and so can shepherd's pie. I have to go to an Irish bar in Center City to get good Irish fare. Yeah, look, I used to make it at the pizza shop all the time. I would do a big pot of corned beef and cabbage and a big pot of shepherd's pie and sell it on St. Patty's Day to my customers. Loved it. It was awesome. It was always a big hit. For sure. So it leaves you around 60 million mark, and with another few restructures. Yeah, look, I'm not saying it's impossible. I like your creative thinking. I'm also, just so you know, me saying $20 million, that was being generous. He's on a $25 million a year contract right now. He's a little older than when he signed it, but he is coming off a second-team All-Pro season, right? I think 2 of the last 3 years, that's his contract. 2 of the last 3 years, he's been second-team All-Pro. So I think as your next comment, wishful thinking, I think you're being a little too wishful in your thinking on $20 million a year working in extension. You're probably looking at his age, you're not going to get him for $360. You're probably looking at 3 for $70, maybe $475. I don't know. $475 is less than 20. You're looking at $370 for Jesse Bates, AK, and I just don't think the Eagles are going to do that. Potatoes and onion leek soup always hits the spot. Oh, I love a good potato and onion leek soup. I love making soup in general. One of the things I miss the most is making soup during soup season at the pizza shop. I only made soup at home like twice this entire winter. Hollywood Brown was a pickup nobody's seen coming. Exactly. That was not on my radar, Adam. Hollywood Brown, again, we can bring this back to the Hollywood Brown. The Eagles going Hollywood at wide receiver. I think it's a very good, solid pickup. The problem is, if Rick and some of these other guys in the chat are right, and A.J. Brown is definitely going, you cannot go in the season with Hollywood Brown as your number 2 wide receiver. So that can't be the last wide receiver move if you believe A.J. Brown is really going in a trade after June 1st. Means you're going to have to draft Omar Cooper or that other guy, KC, Conception or whatever. You're going to have to do something like that. Which if the Eagles go draft the wide receiver late in round 1 or early in round 2, that kind of tells you that AJ's going out the door, right? If they don't draft the wide receiver at all or not till like rounds 5 or 6, then yeah, A.J. Brown is staying here. Hollywood Brown is not a wide receiver, too, anymore at this point in his career. He's a third wide receiver, at best, that could play inside and outside. Wife made a big feast of Irish food yesterday, but one day a year for Irish food is good for me. I agree. I mean, shepherd's pie and bangers and mash, while they're Irish, they're things that I love, mashed potatoes and gravy and stuff like that with meat. So, I could eat that kind of stuff. Corned beef and cabbage, it's a once-a-year thing. Now, I do like a good Reuben sandwich. Hold the sauerkraut. I think corned beef is a very underrated meat. I might have corned beef 2 or 3 times a year. Because I'll get Landhope makes a really good corned beef hoagie, sliced really thin and stuff like that. But anyway, they use boar's head, so it's probably why, because they use really good meat. I love corned beef. But yeah, corned beef and cabbage and potatoes, it's a one-time-a-year thing for me, for sure. My Italian heritage can't take, that kind of cooking too frequently. My wife, on the other hand, loves cooked cabbage and Polish food and stuff like that, because cabbage is very big in Polish cooking as well. But anyway, let's see. Where are we at, guys? If you have not hit the like button yet, do it. We are up to phone's not refreshing. Up to 18 likes on the video so far today. No new subscribers yet, to my knowledge, but hit those buttons. I mean, we got 17, 18 likes, but we've got 19 votes on the poll question. Does how the Phillies players perform in the World Baseball Classic mean anything this year? Yes, 21%. No, 53%. A little, 26%. Take that with what you will. I am excited for the start of baseball season because I really have no idea what's coming with this Phillies team. I think this Phillies pitching staff is going to be great. I do. I have my concerns about the bullpen and the offense. What I saw from Adolis Garcia, I watched a decent amount of the Phillies game down here while I was doing work in the basement yesterday. Adolis Garcia had several hits, got his average up, started hitting the ball, muscled the ball through the wind for a home run yesterday. It's a positive sign. So yesterday we got 2 positive Philly signs. Garcia hitting in camp and Harper hitting in the World Baseball Classic. Things to get excited about, right? Hey, thank you, Adam. Always loved making the soups. Always did. Gotten lazy with the cooking lately. I don't do much cooking at all, period, around the house anymore. It's just simple stuff and that's it around here. Just because I'm just lazy on that front now. Used to cook I cooked more at home when I had the pizza shop than after the pizza shop. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Hell, I've even bought frozen pizzas to put in my freezer as snacks instead. It is what it is. Anyway, we've got now every day with this Eagles team a little bit more information, a little bit more of an idea of what they're plotting and planning. Hollywood Brown is the next addition. And this Hollywood Brown signing is just another reminder, okay, that the Eagles are not finished, right? This Hollywood Brown signing is just another reminder that Howie Roseman is not done working. Howie Roseman is not done building this team or this roster. This roster and team are still in massive flux going into 2026. He's still maneuvering around all the complications. I know no more A.J. Brown talk, but it is one of the complications of this offseason, right? Whether he's traded or not, right? The Jalen Carter, the Jordan Davis situation, letting guys go, replacing those guys, thinking about the future. As I said over and over again, much more difficult offseason than 2024. This is probably the most challenging Howie Roseman has had to deal with overall, big picture, not just A.J. Brown, in his entire tenure in Philadelphia with the Eagles as their GM. So you just got to be patient. You just got to think and relax. You just got to realize that the job is not done. And the people criticizing Howie Roseman for the last week or two because he didn't sign every big-name player on the first day of free agency or let some of our favorite players, not best players, favorite players walk. Woosah. Relax. That's what Hollywood Brown tells me, that the deal is not done. The team is not done. Hollywood Brown signing is a sign that it's still Howie's season, also giving Lori a touch of producer roots. Look, I love that. That's good. I wasn't expecting that last line. Look, everyone wanted Darnell Mooney or this guy or that guy. Hollywood Brown is one of the better third wide receiver options that have signed this offseason so far, in my opinion, right? I mean, who else has signed in free agency at that kind of price, up to $6.5 million? So my guess when today or tomorrow or 3 days from now, when the Brown contract is officially announced, my guess is $2.5, $3 million guaranteed, that a lot of is incentive-based, right? A lot of void years probably tacked on. It's probably a $2 million cap hit with $3 million guaranteed. And that's it, right? Give me another option at wide receiver 3 that has signed, that would sign for that price, right? That would leave that flexibility going forward for the Eagles. Robert, anybody that tells you that this is not an accurate statement, that Howie Roseman is still the best GM in football, anybody that says to the counter to that, nonsense. They're just spitting out nonsense. They're just saying the opposite just to be the opposite. They don't even probably believe it. Because, yes, Howie Roseman is the best GM in football, and I still have the utmost faith in him. I had fries and a Shamrock Shake at McDonald's. Oh, my God. But my last name is Irish. So I said, what is your last name, mister? It's not Sandman. It's not mister. You mean the same Laurie producer roots that gave us the trash-picking, field-goal-kicking Philadelphia Miracle? Look, Jeffrey Lurie loves those Oscars. He loves being a movie producer. He wants Oscars just as much as he wants Super Bowl trophies. That's a proven fact. He wants that trophy case full. That is Jeffrey Lurie's number one goal, is to have his trophy case full. That's what he cares about. That's what he wants. That's what he likes. It is what it is. I don't really, I just joke about that stuff, but it is what it is. Look, the Eagles are not a complete football team. They haven't been. They aren't. And they won't be. Again, AK can talk about Jesse Bates and whether it's a good idea or not. Remember, and I've said this like 4 times over the last week, and I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again. And most of you guys, we all disagree on the A.J. Brown stuff, right? But most of you guys agree with me that Howie's not done. But there's so much out there, so many people out there bashing Howie Roseman. And I'll say it for the 100th time in the last 2 weeks. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was not a trade till August 20th in 2022. Our safety room was a barren wasteland entering 2022, and it just wasn't there. I would guess Mista's last name is McMahon. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's a dart throw. That's a dart throw, just like the A.J. Brown trade rumors, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm trying to think. I had another big topic I wanted to discuss today, and now I can't remember. Oh, yes. All right, so we're almost at the top of the hour. I want to bring something else into the conversation, back to the Phillies side of the things. And it's something that's weird to me. And it's something that I don't think gets talked about enough, right? And that's the fact that, yes, Johan Rojas has been suspended for 80 games or half the season or whatever for PED usage, right? That is now, in less than 12 months, 3 Philadelphia Phillies suspended for PED usage. Jose Alvarado early last season, Max Kepler in the offseason for a failed test at the end of the season, and now Johan Rojas, right? Now, you can argue Max Kepler, he was what he was. He was terrible. Johan Rojas probably didn't belong on this roster, whatever, right? Jose Alvarado was a big part going into last season, too, though. What is with, if you go down the list of Phillies that have failed PED tests, right? It's a very small list, publicly failed, right? There's rumors that certain guys might have been on lists or failed tests, whatever. But officially failed Phillies tests, it's a very short list, right? And we've had 3 in less than 12 months. What does that say to you? To me, it gives me this weird vibe. It's not like they're the elite guys failing it, but Jose Alvarado was coming. We didn't have Joe Durant. He was supposed to be our closer last year. Max Kepler was our big free agent signing last offseason. What is up with the lack? Do people just not care when a player fails a PED test? Is that why it doesn't get talked about? The fact you've had 3 players in such a short span fail, what's going on in that locker room that makes so many players? If I was the Alvarado failed, if I was Kepler and Rojas, I'd be like, oh, man, I guess anybody could get caught. Maybe I wouldn't do it. I don't understand why it's not a topic or a story in Philadelphia more frequently. Thoughts on that? I want to throw that into the conversation as well, because I think it's an interesting story that is being kind of swept under the rug as no big deal. We're focused on Bryce Harper and whether he's back or not. We were focused on the Nick Castellanos thing, right? But we never seem to worry about or discuss what I feel is a very big deal. Lurie has range. He was also part of the producers of Chariots of Fire. He's got at least one Oscar, Jeffrey Lurie, in his trophy case at this point. Not sure how many total, but he's got at least one, maybe even 2 Oscars as a producer. So yeah, use that with what you will. That information will take you really far in life, right? I hate the fact that my players are getting busted, are cheating. Wouldn't that be a topic for the leaders? If the leadership of the Phillies locker room was so strong, when Jose Alvarado got suspended last year, don't you think that would have been a moment for the leaders of the Phillies team to step up and speak that we don't accept that kind of stuff? Now Jose Alvarado's back this year. Jose Alvarado looks like he's not on the juice this year, size-wise. I think there's so many layers to it, and I think there's so much to it, and it frustrates me. It bothers me. I don't like my players cheating. I don't. He was a producer on Firefox. See, I couldn't tell you. I don't keep tabs on who he's producing and what he's producing. Maybe I should look up his IMDb chart and see what else he's produced. Actually, it's a quiet day in the chat. It's a quiet day in the algorithm. Let's look up Jeffrey Lurie, IMDb. Let's look up his producing credits on IMDb real quick. Let's see what we got here. Jeffrey Lurie, producer, Apocalypse in the Tropics, 2024. The League in 2023, Summer of Soul, The Meaning of Hitler, Totally Under Control. His highest rated, Billy Preston, That's the Way God Planned It, 8.7 stars on IMDb. I haven't heard of the Foxfire that you just mentioned, 6.2 rating. Not a whole hell of a lot of things I've heard of on there. Firefox, now there's a movie that needs some respect laid on it. I've never even heard of it till now. Jeffrey Lurie has 1 Grammy back in 22, Summer Soul. Gotcha. So no Oscars, Grammys he's got. Gotcha. Interesting. Yeah, you learn something new every day, right? You learn something new every day. I think the 3 have in common is that they needed an edge. Alvarado needed to lose weight and gain muscle. The other 2 were fighting for their playing careers. It's an individual's problem. And I get that, Big Al, especially someone like Johan Rojas. Well, no, Max Kepler last year was struggling. Signed a 1-year deal, a hope and a prove-it deal, returned to his past glory, wasn't doing it, needed an edge. Johan Rojas, losing his spot in the roster, right? Trying to earn that edge. Jose Alvarado, losing weight. You're right. But after 1, don't you think leadership of this team should step up and put their foot down that we don't accept this? Quite frankly, I didn't want Jose Alvarado back this year. I understand a $9 million lefty reliever that throws close to 100. They don't grow. Well, they do grow on trees now. But, I get why they brought him back financially. But you would think that it happening 3 times in such a short window when it only's happened like 7 times in the last 25 years. I'm ballpark. I think it's 7 or 8 guys have been suspended from the Phillies, in the last 25 years for PEDs, right? And 3 of them have been in 10 months. To me, that's a problem in that locker room. Okay, I'm back. We're all over the place. We're covering it all, AK. So you drop whatever comments you want, whatever questions you want, whatever topics you want. We got 30 minutes left today. The chat's not buzzing today because we're bored of A.J. Brown talk. So we're all over the place. Not like Harper is handing them out. Desperate people, desperate measures. Phillies probably don't want the others to talk about it. See, obviously Harper's not handing them out, right? But the Phillies probably don't want others to talk about it. No, see, if I'm the Phillies, I want Bryce Harper to stand up and be like, yo, guys, this is not the way we do business in Philadelphia. Philadelphia fans don't want people taking shortcuts, right? We want people that work hard. I want Bryce Harper to stand up or Kyle Schwarber to stand up and say, this is not acceptable. Last name is McGill. Related to Jimmy McGill? That's Irish and Scottish surname meaning son of the stranger. Interesting. Jimmy McGill, though. If Alvarado didn't get caught, we probably don't get Durant. That's fair. That's probably fair. Although if Alvarado doesn't do them, then we definitely still need Durant, right? Because Alvarado, to me, was never a closer. Alvarado was never best suited as a closer anyway, right? Alvarado is always going to be your 6th, 7th, 8th, high leverage, get a lefty out guy, right? He was very inconsistent as a closer. So I don't know if that necessarily means that we don't get Durant only if he doesn't get caught. If he was using him and doesn't get caught, that's a different story. But I think as soon as people saw his weight loss last year, it should have been a red flag, right? How jacked he was going into the season should have been a red flag. It wasn't, but should have been. AK, we're talking a little bit about why, I know you're not a Phillies fan, but why 3 Phillies players in the span of less than 12 months getting caught for PED usage and being suspended for 80 games is not a bigger story in Philadelphia, right? Because I think it should be a story that you've got 3 guys in the same locker room getting caught cheating in such a short window. And it frustrates me. I don't like it. Yeah, I'm surprised no one's going to say, well, Lane Johnson got suspended and you still love him. But I get it. Lane Johnson's earned my respect back over the years. Still doesn't take away from what he did, cheating early in his career to get that edge. I understand why players do it. I do. I go back to his very early in his post-playing career. Alex Rodriguez talked about it. Why did you do steroids, right? Why did you let yourself get caught doing something that you didn't need to do? And he talked about the pressure of signing that first big contract in Texas. In his first year in Texas, after the big deal, which now looks like, what was it, like $250 million? It looks like nothing now. That's like an average player now. But he signed that big deal in that first month or two of his first year. He was struggling massively. And he was presented with the option to take steroids, right? And he used it for the edge. And he knows it was wrong. And he admitted it was wrong, right? But the pressure to live up to the contract, the pressure to get another contract, I get it. But 3 in less than a year? J.C. Romero, Carlos Ruiz got busted. I think he was Adderall. There's a couple guys. There wasn't a lot. It's a really small list of players that have ever gotten suspended by the Phillies or from the Phillies by Major League Baseball. I'm an Eagles fan. I just hate baseball. I love playing it. Just was never able to watch it. Love going to the games. Yeah. And I just think it's weird that it's not a bigger story that 3 guys in like 10, 11 months. I am not related to the fictional character Jimmy McGill. At least you picked up on what I was saying there. Nobody else got the Jimmy McGill reference, right? But I think the rapper Gilly the Kid stole my name. Is that right? Maybe you should try to get some coin from him on that if you could prove that, right? Hey, at least you got the reference to Jimmy McGill, right? I love it. I love it. I will never see the name McGill and not think of Jimmy McGill ever again, right? Hey. Pablo Azano. Yeah, look, the list is very small for the Phillies. I saw the list yesterday. I should have written it down. I didn't think we'd be slow today, so I didn't think I would have the time to bring this topic up. You would think Rob Thompson would pull his team together and be like, yo, this is not how we do business. It's not. Mr. Soldier Steven, how are you? Let's have a good Wednesday. Absolutely. Absolutely, Soldier Steve. Hope you are well today. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Every day is a beautiful day. Her name was McGill, or M. Gill, but she called herself Lil what? Is that from the rapper he was talking about? I don't know. I never even heard of rapper Gilly the Kid. I'm not into the modern hip-hop era that is going on in music right now. So I don't get that reference. Anyway, just putting the steroid conversation out there, the PED conversation out there, because it's something that bothers me. And it's something that speaks to the leadership, which I still think is one of the biggest question marks with the Phillies. I think it speaks to it a little bit. It's honestly weird. I used to love baseball and basketball as a kid growing up, but then they just died for me in the last 90s, and football just became the end-all, be-all. Yeah, look, baseball will always be my heart. See, this is the way it is. Baseball is my heart, right? Basketball is the sport that I excelled at most before I broke my leg, right? I wasn't like playing college ball or anything. I was a damn good basketball player, right? Football is up here, right? I understand it the best, and I know it's the most important to talk in this sense. And I bleed green, and football being a once-a-week thing, is special. But baseball will always be my heart, for sure. No, I didn't realize that was a Beatles reference. I thought you were talking about, I wasn't even thinking about the Beatles. I was thinking he just mentioned a rapper. You put a line out there that had M. Gill in it. I was trying to draw the reference there, Rick. That's fine. My bad. I'm not a huge Beatles guy. I respect their importance to the culture and the history of music, but I never found much Beatles music great. I think Paul McCartney post-Beatles is better than the Beatles. I never got the hype. I appreciated it, but I didn't love their music. Yeah, and I think, while basketball was my most talented sport growing up, it was much more watchable back then. Now you can't watch it. It's just terrible. And again, as we talked yesterday on this show, the NBA is too focused on expansion versus fixing the problems they face. I mean, the Sixers I didn't have to look. I looked, but I didn't have to look to know the Sixers lost last night. There's no point in watching that basketball game last night. Gilly isn't modern. He's a rapper from the 90s, and you do know him. He hangs out with Big Dom doing the Blow the Whistle song. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. You described him, and now I can picture him now. Yeah, I didn't get that. I thought you're lining up with what Mister was saying. I'm trying to keep my mind set. Yeah, like I said, I love baseball, but TV killed it for me. It's just so. See, I can watch a baseball game. I watched an hour and a half of the Phillies preseason game yesterday, or spring training game yesterday. I still love the sport of baseball. I wanted nothing more than to be Mike Schmidt growing up. You know what I mean? Despite him becoming a terrible announcer and not cool after his play. Look, he had personality issues with whatever, but I wanted nothing more than to be a third baseman, just like Mike Schmidt. Problem with me, baseball, was I could actually field. I had a great glove. I had a cannon for an arm. I couldn't hit a beach ball. I literally, legitly could not hit a beach ball if it was thrown my way. Now, basketball, on the other hand, I could shoot. I could play defense. I could run the point. I could do it all when I was younger. I had some basketball skills growing up. Need to get this MLB season started. I'm sick of the AJ talk. Sick of the Sixers at this point. Look, we're just over a week away. The Phillies season is upon us. Next week, we will do a bunch of Phillies preview things and Phillies content for sure. Getting set. If I don't have anything on opening day work-wise, I will live stream opening day on this channel. No doubt about it. We will do a Phillies watch party on opening day if I don't have something else going on. I don't even know, but we will. We'll do what we can do there. I'm ready to move on from basketball season. I'm ready to move on from A.J. Brown talk. The only reason why A.J. Brown is part of the conversation today was because of the Jaylen Waddle trade, and if it gives you any insight into the A.J. Brown price, right? That's it. It's all price related on A.J. Brown talk-wise today, okay? The Hollywood Brown thing has nothing to do with A.J. Brown. Nothing. Because he's not going to replace A.J. Brown, right? But I am like you, Soldier Steve. I'm tired of it. We spent earlier in the show with Bruce in the chat talking golf today. I'm over it. What, would you trade Josh Allen? No. I mean, I'm not a Bills fan. The Bills would never trade Josh Allen. Josh Allen will spend his entire career in Buffalo. I don't understand why that's even a question. But no, I would not trade Josh Allen. Oh, for sure. No one beats the late 80s, early 90s Phillies games. Spent a lot of time at the, so did I, especially Sunday. We probably bumped into each other with our dads at the vet back in the late 80s, early 90s in the upper deck there in the 700 level. And I stopped, in fact, when Veterans Stadium was demoed, I stopped. Okay, maybe that's something. Why would I trade? Why would what? I don't understand the question about trading Josh Allen. I mean, we're an Eagles channel. I don't mind talking national football topics, but there's no rumors of it. There's no topics of it. Are you a Bills fan and you want to trade him? I need context on why you're asking that question. But Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in football, hands down, maybe the best in the regular season at least. I just don't understand the context of why you're asking that question, so I can better answer it. I too played a lot of basketball growing up. Grew up in a very mixed race. Yeah, me too. Growing up in Ridley, that was my thing. So if you wanted to get on the court, you had to know how to ball. Are we like twins? Did we grow up in the same place, Rick? Because that's the way it was for me. I wasn't allowed to shoot the first summer I was at the courts. I wasn't allowed to shoot one iota on the courts, okay? I had to play defense and rebound, and that's it. I got knocked down a lot, too. Since we stole, stop. We made a lot of these jokes earlier in the show, Steven. We made a lot of these jokes. Flyers 8 points back, play on the West Coast tonight, Anaheim Ducks. We talked about the Flyers yesterday, Adam. It's very important for the Flyers to get the experience they need to be able to finish the rebuild and see the finish line on the rebuild. Getting the playoffs is important. 8 points. I looked at, they had, I think, 2 or 3 more games left than the Sixers did. I think they're at like 16 games left in the season. The Flyers, tonight's one of those 16 games. 8 points isn't a lot, but it's a lot. Why do you want to trade Josh Allen? I mean, Buffalo fans may get upset, right? We have a regular Buffalo fan on the chat regularly. Josh Allen is still, you don't trade Josh Allen. You know, you want more from Josh Allen, but you don't trade him because Josh Allen's don't grow on trees. Jalen Hurts don't grow on trees. Elite quarterbacks don't grow on trees. You're better with him and trying to figure out how to right the ship than move on from him. I got real good at defense on the court. So did I. Ersan, you don't trade Ersan. Ersan's not a good player. Ersan's not a good player at all. You just release him after this year. More frustrating franchise. Flyers or Sixers, both almost 50 years since the championship. Man, more frustrating. I would say the Sixers are more frustrating overall over my fandom because the Sixers have had 2 really good chances, right? They had a really good chance in Allen Iverson's era. They just couldn't get over the hump. And they, in theory, had a chance in 2019 and couldn't get over the hump. The Flyers never had an Allen Iverson. Well, they did with Eric Lindros, but injuries cut that short. The Flyers had Eric Lindros, and that was it. They haven't had another Eric Lindros type since then, right? The elite of the elite player. The Sixers have had 2 generational players in Allen Iverson and Joel Embiid. And say what you will about Joel Embiid, but Joel Embiid is a generational player, right? Injuries got the best of him. I get it. So I would say the Sixers, because they hit on 2 elite players and couldn't get them over the top. Hey, I mean, I don't pay enough attention to the Bills to know. Like, I'm not tapped into the Bills fan base like that. Since you're talking hockey a second, the Mighty Ducks, should Disney remake it, or is that an untouchable classic? Well, they brought it back as a TV series. I never watched the TV series. Yeah, that's a classic. You don't redo that. You're never going to get, Emilio Estevez going, fly at me, the same again, right? I think Hollywood has gotten too lazy with remakes and reboots and restarts. Just leave it alone. Let the classic be the classic it is. Come up with something new, right? Exactly. You just need to make sure in the playoffs not to lean on him. Exactly. Teach him not to play hero ball. Like you don't trade her, son. You just move on from him. Flyers, great chance in the 80s, great chance in the 90s, great chance. They had a really good chance with Giroux, but they didn't have that extra piece, right? And they failed to find a goalie all those times. The 80s, my hockey love didn't really start. What year did we acquire Lindros in the trade with the Avalanche for Peter Forsberg? Is that 91, 92? That was really where my Flyers love started. My first Flyers game wasn't until like 92. I was already pushing teenage years at that point. Agreed. Yeah. Hollywood has gotten too lazy with Remax and stuff. Like Lindros was 92. All right, so that was when I still remember sitting in the back of my dad. So my dad worked for Bell Telephone for 24 years, but he had a lot of side jobs. He delivered bulk newspapers to food stores and gas stations on Saturday mornings, the early edition, and he would make me wake up with him and go, learn how to work. He'd pay me $5, get to ride around with my dad every day. We'd listen to sports talk. I remember sitting in the back of the van and the sports update coming back from a commercial break. Flyers acquire Eric Lindros in a trade, draft day trade or whatever it was. I still remember that and us talking about it. I think that's bold. It's just weird that you're going Allen and Ersan as your two topics. But hey, that's what we do here. No one beats Ron Hextall for me, dude. Was the first ever goalie. Ron Hextall, time one, was the last time we had a great goalie situation in Philly. I remember more Ron Hextall's second tenure in Philly. Ron Hextall fighting as a goalie. I don't understand what's going on in the chat from Twitter there. But it was truly all about Wayne Gretzky. Look, Wayne Gretzky arguably is one of the greatest hockey players of all time. Plain and simple. Hockey was different back then. Hockey actually mattered back in the 80s, 90s, not just in Philly, but everywhere, across the country. Hockey was a big deal back then. Hockey is, we talk about how basketball has become unwatchable and is falling apart, but basketball is still making a shit ton of money. Hockey, after their lockout, 99 or 02 or whatever, has never fully recovered. And hockey in America is just not a big deal anymore. And no matter how much they try and how much they pivot and do this or that, it just can't gain steam. Did Eagles get good or still mid? The Eagles did nothing, man, Chatter. They got better. Signing Hollywood Brown as your wide receiver 3 is a makeup improvement move. I haven't even looked at a bracket. I still have not even looked or opened a bracket. I'm going to see if I can go the entirety of March Madness without looking at a bracket. I don't know why, but I just don't get into college basketball anymore. NBA is absolutely going to a lockout. MLB is absolutely going to a lockout. Absolutely both those sports are going to be locked out. We're coming to the end of the current CBAs for both those leagues, and they're both going to go into lockout mode. Now, I think baseball will be a longer lockout than basketball because baseball is trying to institute something brand new in a salary cap, but basketball is going to go to a lockout too. Sure, it was discussed earlier, but did Harper's home run last night make you feel better about him entering the season even though they lost last night? And yes, we've discussed that, Steve. To me, it doesn't change anything. I think it changes Harper's thought process, maybe takes some of the pressure off of Bryce Harper himself. But to me, one hit doesn't change that, right? I think it helps Bryce Harper more than it helps Phillies fans. That's my thought process on the Bryce Harper situation home run last night. We signed Hollywood Brown yesterday afternoon, 1 year, up to $6.5 million deal. No details on how much guaranteed or any of that. So NHL as well as NBA needs to go back to the formula that each had in the 90s, which was what? What formula are they missing right now? What formula are you talking about? Okay. What's missing from now that was there then? Less teams. NHL needs to bring back the rough stuff. I know you don't agree, Phil, but it's good for the game, especially TV-wise, whether you like it or not. Look, it's not that I don't like it. I don't think it brings anything to the game itself. Yes, on TV, yes. A casual fan seeing a hockey fight might think that's cool, right? But big picture, I don't think it does anything. I don't think it helps in any way, shape, or form. I don't. Hockey fights, even when it was cool, was never cool for me. Because do you really want to see two guys punching each other with helmets on? I mean, very rarely does a hockey fight actually do anything, right? And the rough stuff of cross-checking and driving people into the boards, we're smarter. We know what that does to the human body, okay? NBA and NHL, both way too soft. I know you want more rough, tough. You want bloody noses. You want things to be the way they were in the 90s. But we're smarter people now. We don't need that, okay? Yeah, maybe you want the NBA to allow hand-checking again, or something like that. Sure. Yes, Hollywood is greater than Dotson, for sure. There's no doubt about it. Talk to any hockey purist, they'll tell you fighting has a place. I know they do. And it's policing the games on the ice. I get that. I just don't think I've never, maybe 2 or 3 hockey fights ever actually entertained me. NBA and NHL have given us European sports. You want to be advanced, but you also want to go backwards. I just don't understand. I don't think so. I don't think we need it to be rougher and tougher and more physical. Okay? Hockey fights are fake, never blood, which is fine, are not animals. Yeah, look. I don't think fighting brings anything to it. I don't. You want to be tougher, I get it. And it's fine. Everything in the NBA is a foul. Whistle every 8 seconds. Let them play a little bit more. That's fine. Eliminate flopping. Don't let these guys get away with the flopping. That's fine. That I agree with with you. Absolutely. You talk about, not you, the NBA talks about eliminating flopping all the time. But yet then they don't actually do anything to eliminate it, okay? So I agree with that. Hockey fights aren't fake, but they are. I mean, let's be honest. When you got a bunch of guys with pads on and helmets on, is it a real fight now? Okay? I don't know. Very rarely is a hockey fight a real knockdown, drag it out thing. Okay? I just, hockey fights bore me. It's 30 seconds and nothingness, in my opinion. I know you disagree. I mean, look, I saw a video the other day of a LeBron flop. He literally was not touched. And he was like grabbing his arm, and then no one did anything, so he grabbed his other arm. Then he got escorted to the locker room, was back out 2 minutes later. This is what's wrong with the NBA. You eliminate this, right? Bam Adebayo having 471 free throws in a game. You eliminate this, and the game gets better, right? The game gets more entertaining, right? Soccer Mom's got a hold of American sports 20 years ago. See, it means nothing. Your comment, I don't think you realize what your comments like this, the pussification of America, make you sound like, okay? Makes you sound naive, Rick, okay? It does. All right? Shameless plug. Chet in the chat finally. Philly Sports. Brian Cameron on the show tonight. I love Brian. I remember I have very fond times of working with Brian over at Philadelphia Sports Network. One of the best that doesn't get the credit he deserves covering the Eagles. Obviously, he also hosts Birds of a Feather, his Eagles podcast. Brian Cameron tonight, live 7 p.m. Hey, good for you. That's always a great guest. Always very insightful and a great. Brian's a great person as well. NBA and basketball are too regional. Coincidentally, LeBron and CP3 are best friends, are the biggest floppers known in the NBA. I think not. No. The marketing is bad for the NBA and NHL. Absolutely. For sure. Chet in the chat. What's up? Absolutely. We all love Chet in the chat, right? Chet in the chat is more over than me personally. It just is the way it is. Price of going to an NBA or NHL game, which is full of flops, is also a big problem as well. Absolutely. Far from naive, just a realist who sees things from a different angle. No, see, I'm going to disagree with you on that. I think you're naive to think that just making games safer is making the game softer, okay? That's not necessarily true because that's just the case. It's just wrong. The players don't connect with fans. Absolutely. The players are not. I think that's a very fair point as well. The players don't connect with us. The money's gotten so big that they just don't engage the fan base the way they used to. Some of them do, but not enough of them do, right? When scoring got out of control in the NBA is when it got unwatchable. I missed the days when an NBA game ended 81-73. Defense, right? Defense. What happened to defense, right? That's a problem more than the game going soft. Games going soft is far, far, far from the biggest issue the NBA or NHL have faced. 200 to 300 just for opening day ticket standing room Phillies. And this is what's wrong with the Phillies, Adam. If you're going to drop $200 to $300 to see the Phillies on opening day after they have every Phillies fan has spent the whole entire offseason criticizing this Phillies organization. But yeah, people are dropping $200 to $300 to go see the game, right? Why would John Milton change anything? Why would Dave Dombrowski worry about his job? The stage is going to be packed 81 times this year, right? People are going to still drop the money on jerseys, on hats, on concessions, on parking, on tickets. Unless Phillies fans put their foot down and plant their flag that just making the playoffs is not good enough anymore, then there's nothing going to ever change with the Phillies. Love that you pointed that out. Love that you pointed that out. All right, what's on tap tomorrow? We got more Phillies talk tomorrow, more Eagles talk. We'll see if the Philly Eagles do anything. Got lots happening. Tomorrow's the start of March Madness. Maybe I'll talk a little March Madness. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll actually look at a bracket, but I doubt it. Not being able to hit in the NFL, everything is a foul in the NBA. So you want people to be able to take cheap shots in the NFL? Do you want people to be able to make helmet-to-helmet contact? Do we need people with CTE anymore? No. No, you're so far off base. So far from it. Shout out to Phil for making a great show. Muchas gracias. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you. I hear a lot more people. I'm getting more and more DMs that people do actually just listen and don't comment. I love it. I love it. So off tomorrow for the start of March Madness. I still have not looked at a bracket. I still have not looked at one bit of it. So you want quarterbacks getting hurt and getting concussions. You want players to hide concussions. That's not the league getting soft. That's not the pussification of America. That's you being naive to us being smarter individuals and humans. Thank you. I park in the independent parking lots to support them. I'll be at opening day, so I'm 100% one of those fans that is contributing to the problem. You are, and that's the problem with the Phillies, okay? It is. Steve, I said I wasn't going to go to a Phillies game, but we'll have to go to a Phillies game. We'll have to do have to figure out a way we can do a pregame show for a Phillies from the parking lot somewhere. Find a parking lot that's got really good Wi-Fi, and let's do a show from the Phillies parking lot. Keep away from the head. That's permanent. Yeah. 200 standing room is funny. You need a minimum of $1,500 to go to. Yeah, that's true, too. That is true, too. That's another big issue right there. Michigan, Duke, Zona, Florida. I couldn't even told you. Are they your 4 number 1 teams? Had no clue. I have not watched 1 second of college basketball. Have not looked at a bracket. I know nothing about what's going on. Nothing that's going on with March Madness. And honestly, I don't feel like I'm missing a thing. Not a thing. Anyway, we're going to wrap this baby up. Well, why'd I close my book? I need that for shorts. Not a lot of shorts out of today's show, but I think we got some good ones. Anyway, with that being said, guys, we're going to wrap this baby up. We'll be back tomorrow. If you haven't, like, share, subscribe, tell one, tell all. Hugs. Yeah, let's hugs. Let's hug it out, Rick. Let's hug it out. I would so be down for that. We will figure out a game. Got to find a parking lot that's got good Wi-Fi to do that. $300 on a ticket. You're not good with money. We're not talking about tickets. We're like with a seat. Adam is talking about there's a section at the Philly Stadium for standing room tickets. They're normally like $10, $15, $20. $300 for a spot just to stand to watch the game. Here's my big tape for March Madness. I don't even watch it. Ohio State beats Duke. Couldn't even tell you they're in the same bracket. No clue. Anyway, everybody have a great Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow with more great content, guys. Have a good one. Go Birds. Always. Bubbles up.